Hello everyone, welcome to another TWAB video. We're going to be looking at this week's TWAB as per usual here, and this one should be pretty hefty as it says, so we're going to get right on into it. I'm not really going to sum it up too hard. There's a few things I'm going to skip, but other than that, I don't really plan on skipping anything. First things first, I love the Ginyu Force poses with the Gundam or mech armor. I think it all looks very, very nice. I cannot wait to get this Titan helmet. It looks absolutely phenomenal. So if you have not seen what the armor looks like, it is there. National coming out day. So if you're interested in that, but here is where it gets more interesting when it comes into actual in-game stuff that we could see. So destination materials update. The big thing is you're not going to be able to get any of these anymore after season 19. That being Dusklight, Microphasic, I call it data lettuce, helium filaments, Barian bows, spin metal leaves, and glacial starwort. You will not be able to obtain, unlike previous currencies that we have removed from the game, these materials will not be fully depreciated, but I'm getting ahead of myself. More on that in a bit. So there is that. A simpler economy. First and foremost, we have to talk about why we decided to make this change. After all, these materials have been part of the DNA of Destiny since the very beginning. The simplest answer is that Destiny has grown to become a much more complex game than it started as all those years ago. One of the major goals that we have on the economy team for Destiny 2 is making the game more approachable to new and returning players. One way that we can do that is by reducing the number of currencies that players need to understand and keep track of. This helps us reduce the cognitive load that Destiny's economy places on the player. With fewer currencies to manage, it'll be easier for players to learn and remember the value of the items that they have in their inventories. Removing these materials also benefits players by freeing up inventory space and making it easier to find the items that they are looking for. Very nice, in my opinion. I actually hate farming for destination materials, so this is very nice in my opinion. Legendary shards are probably going to become the new currency, that and just glimmer, so that is going to be very interesting to me. So times are changing. The first thing many of you are probably asking as you read this is, what about the material exchange? And I'll let you know it's not going away. Master Raoul will continue to provide the services that Spider once did, although there will be some changes. As mentioned a bit earlier, those materials will not be fully depreciated as we have done with destination materials in the past. Instead, Raoul will continue to accept any destination materials that you may have stored up over the years, although we'll see them exchange at a lower rate than they had previously, and Raoul will no longer sell destination materials to players. Starting in Season 19, Raoul will now exchange 5,000 Glimmer for a stack of 20 destination materials if players have less than 20 of a material in their inventory. Raoul will exchange 250 Glimmer for each individual material offered up by the player. Once Season 19 begins, this will only be used for destination materials moving forward, so you can safely exchange all your materials and free up that inventory space. However, there are some new items that Master Raoul has found an interest in. Starting in Season 19, players can access dark fragments, phantasmal fragments, and here always pieces at Raoul for exchanges for Glimmer. This is so huge to me, in my opinion, because I have thousands of here always pieces. So thank God that they're actually doing something about that. That's awesome. And then finally, the cost of exchanging legendary shards for glimmers remains unchanged. Enhancement Prism and Ascendant Shard costs will see destination material costs removed and replaced with legendary shard costs. So here is the updated costs. One prism is worth 10 cores, 10 shards, and 10,000 glimmer. And Ascendant shards are 10 prisms, 50 legendary shards, and 50,000 glimmer. So there is that. Public service. Now that you know about the changes to the material exchange, you are probably thinking, well, there goes the easiest way to get glimmer, and that's not lost on us. To offset this, we want to make an opportunity to breathe new life into the part of Destiny 2 gameplay loop that maybe doesn't get as much attention as it used to. Public events. In Season 19, public events will be getting a big Glimmer boost, especially the heroic versions. So the next time you see Fallen mining for Glimmer in the EDZ, take a moment to hop off your Sparrow and help your fellow Guardians take home some of that sweet shimmering Glimmer for yourselves. When completing heroic public events, players can expect to earn about 10k to 20 or 12.5k Glimmer. That's a lot. That's insane. When completing normal public events, it's about 3,300 and 46,450 Glimmer. 4,645, sorry. These are raw numbers without Glimmer boosting mods or bonuses enabled. So that's insane. Doing heroic public events, which is worth it anyway. You're going to get a little bit of better loot. I mean, most of the time it's blues, but sometimes you get purples. Anyway, definitely going to be worth it. So Glimmer farming, it's going to be kind of inconvenient having to do heroics, but it is what it is at the end of the day. I do wish that we just were able to have more Glimmer, but again, it is what it is. The price of change, as mentioned earlier, the only use for destination materials will be Raoul's material exchange. That means that anything that previously cost the player destination materials, such as purchasing exotic weapons at the monument to Lost Lights, will see some updates. In the case of these legacy exotic weapons, the destination materials cost will be replaced with the legendary shard cost. Red exotics such as Anarchy and Teraba will see no change to their current costs. Other items that once saw destination materials as part of their purchase costs, such as upgrade mods, enhancement prisms, and ascendant shards, will simply see the destination material cost removed entirely with no further changes to their current price points. And Mod Squad. In a world without destination materials, there are a few ghost mods that need to be addressed. First, the 3 materialism mods, Crucible, Gambit, Vanguard, will be removed at the start of Season 19. Additionally, the Bountiful Harvest mod's functionality has changed. Equipping this mod to your ghost will now increase Glimmer when harvesting from resource nodes. I'm living in a material world and I'm a material guardian. The primary source of destination materials has always been the resource nodes scattered across the various destinations. Those resource nodes are not going anywhere, and it's still in every player's interest to collect some of the nodes that you see along your journey. As many players noticed with the release of Witch Queen, the deposits of fundamental osmium found within Savathun's throne world did not grant a currency, but instead delivered Glimmer, XP, and reputation directly to the vendor or the player. Although we will not be creating new reputation systems for our previous destination vendors such as Devrim, Failsafe Petra, and others at this time, we will be working to improve these experiences. In fact, Devrim and Failsafe are longest tenured destination vendors who have been with us since the Red War will be getting a small update in Season 19. The reputation systems that saw players turning in destination materials to gain reputation ranks have been removed. This also means there is no longer rank requirements to purchase armor from these vendors. Additionally, the ghost shells and emblems that were once earned via reputation rank increases now can be now purchased directly from Devrim or Failsafe for 10 legendary shards each. We also have increased the number of daily bounties that Devrim and Failsafe offer from 3 to 4. Although we don't have repeatable bounties to add to these destinations at this time, it brings us closer to parity across all of the destination vendors. And then finally, we will be removing the sale of sunset weapons from both vendors when the season goes live. This is largely to prevent players from wasting resources on weapons that cannot be upgraded to the current level cap. Next, Destiny Brazil. I'm going to be honest. I don't really care to read this. It's not super important to the actual game itself. It's super cool though. Destiny, the Latin community or the LATAM community manager, super cool, you know, but there's more things that tailor to the game that I want to get into. So mid weapon seasons tuning. So last week we had a nice chat with the weapons team covering a wide variety of questions. They also touched on some plans for weapon tuning coming in mid-season patch next week. Associate designer Mercules is back again to give more detail on what and why the weapon change is coming in 6 point whatever. So we're gonna skip this part. We're gonna get right into the juice right here, and we're just gonna skip a lot of these as well, and we're just gonna read the juice. So auto rifles, general, increase the effects of the stability stat on recoil reduction by 20% at the high end, and precision frames increase the crit damage multiplier from 1.5 to 1.55. Crit damage goes from 30 to 31. Nice. Not a huge boost, but it's a pretty nice one there. And bows. Increased bow stow duration varies by subfamily and handling stat. Before 0 to 100 handling stat. Lightweight frame 0.4 to 0.2. Precision frame 0.433 to 0.2. And after 0 to 100 handling stat 0.45 to 0.3. 0.48 to 0.33. Pulse rifles. General. Rebalance the stat of the handling stat across pulse rifles. The handling stat affects a weapon's ready stow and ADS speed. Increased effects of handling by 5% at the high end. Most effects lightweight and adaptive. Reduced effects of handling by 2% at the low end. Mostly affects high impact and rapid fire frames. Adjusted damage fall off scale based on the range stat. 0 range reduced from 16 to 15. 100 range unchanged. Adaptive frame pulse rifles. Increase the precision multiplier from 1.6 to 1.65, now from 30.4 to 31.4, and this allows a weapon to kill guardians below 4 resilience with 6 crits, 2 bursts, in 0.6 seconds. And rapid fires, peace of mind, base zoom reduced from 19 to 18. So a little nerf to peace of mind. It's not going to have as much range there, which is somewhat smart. Peace of mind is extremely OP in my opinion. Really good pulse rifle, so maybe not OP, but it's extremely good. It's not no time to explain, but we will talk about that in a second because I remember seeing it in there. So pretty decent changes overall, I think. Not again, these are like just small little tweaks for a lot of them. They're not going to be like super game changing. So keep that in mind. Scout rifles, high impact scouts, reduced body damage from 42 to 40, and it's crit from 73.5 to 70. This is smart in my opinion. This is things like I believe like Jade Rabbit, which is extremely powerful. It's still going to do a lot. It's going to still probably 3 crit there. I don't know if it'll 2 crit one body. Maybe if they have a low resilience, it might. But yeah, this is definitely a decent change there. Sidearms general, increased auto aim, fall off distance by 30% across the board. I'm gonna be honest, I have a hard time like understanding these. It sounds like they're just gonna have less like fall off distance, which is, or increased it, so it's gonna have less range. I don't know. You let me know what that means, because I'm too stupid for this. Lightweight frame SMGs currently overlap too much with the adaptive, so we're making a very small change that will help differentiate them. General, reduced damage fall off end, the distance at which the damage dealt by the weapon in hip fire reaches its lowest point. Aiming down sights extends this distance by a factor of the zoom from 24 to 23 across the board. Precision frame SMGs, increased base damage from 16 to 17. Crit damage goes from 22 to 23.8, 22.4 to 23.8. Reduce the zoom with Sheor's Wrath, Adept, and Friction Fire from 16 to 15. That's a kind of decent nerf for that gun. Sheor's has been probably one of the best SMGs in the game. So it makes sense to why they're reducing that zoom, because as we know, zoom does affect the range of guns. So it makes sense. And then lightweight SMGs here, reduced base damage from 11 to 10.85, and crit damage from 18.2 to 17.9. Not a huge nerf at all. Fusion rifles, precision frame fusion rifles, reduce the effect the intrinsic precision frame perk has on recoil direction by 50% for fusion rifles only. Wow. That is insane. That's a big nerf, in my opinion. It's a lot less. Now we have glaives. Glaives, reduce glaive shield damage resistance versus players from 75 to 50. That makes sense to me. Damage from player supers unchanged at 50, and damage from non-players unchanged at 97.5%. This makes sense in my opinion. I think that shield damage resistance is absolutely insane. So pretty decent nerf there for PvP, assuming that that's what it means, resistance versus players. Yeah, so huge nerf. The glaive shield was really good in my opinion, so makes sense. Anyway, sniper rifles, increase the settle time after receiving flinch by 60%. I think that's kind of insane. 60%. So if you get flinched, it's going to take a lot longer for that settle time to happen. And then reduced receive flinch in PvE. Very, very good that they did that. Now that this has had sufficient playtest time, we're making a similar change to linear fusions in season 19. So expect similar things like this for linears, but they'll probably get into that. I kind of think this is bad though, the increased settle time for sniping. For me personally, I'm not a great sniper, so I feel like this might be bad, but I don't know. We'll just have to play with it. So trace rifles, general, increase the effect of the stability stat has on recoil direction at the low end of the stat, 10% at the high end of the stat by 25. And then we have rockets here, increased blast radius by 0.4 meters across the board. And then we have gut shot straight. It removed the audio from activation. That's nice. Whoa, rangefinder. I'm actually gonna read this full thing, so because this seems important to me. So rangefinder has been one of the flat out strongest perks in the game across multiple archetypes of weapons due to how effective zoom is at improving multiple aspects of weapon performance, combined with the fact that as a neutral activator, it does not require getting a kill or dealing damage to activate. The bonus of increasing auto aim fall off distance by 20% put this weapon into a league of its own, or puts perk into a league of its own in terms of power, as it massively increases the ease of use of certain weapon types well beyond when the increased engagement range provided by the zoom, and makes it difficult for any other perks to compete without substantial power creep. As such, we have made the decision to retain the zoom bonus but remove the auto aim fall off bonuses. We expect the perk to remain a top choice, but it will be less dominant compared to other options. So they removed the additional 20% bonus on aim assist fall off. That's huge. Obviously, it's still going to be a good perk, but that's a big nerf, in my opinion. That 20% bonus on that aim assist fall off is that's a decent chunk, man. I don't know. We'll still have to play around and see if how it feels. I don't know if this actually affects the range of certain weapons. It might just be how much aim assist the fall off is like at range. So I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. But now we have the exotics. So first things first here, we have Jade Rabbit, reduced aim assist by 20%. This is huge. Jade Rabbit is super overpowered. It's probably the best scout rifle in the game. That's an exotic that are Deadman's, but I have a bias and would say Deadman, so makes sense that they changed that. Here we have Lord of Wolves. When released, the Wolves is active, reduced ADS speed or ADS accuracy penalty from 10 times to 3 times. G's. Removed the 25% universal base damage buff, added a 40% additional PvE damage buff, removed the 50% critical hit multiplier penalty, added full auto as an intrinsic perk. That is huge. Fuck Lord Wolves. It's OP. Nerf it into the ground. All right. No time. Here we go. Reduced recoil direction stat from 90 to 73. Reduced its aim assist stat from 45 to 40. Thank God. No time is overpowered. In PvP, it is overused all the time because of how strong it is. This is a decent nerf. So when this comes around, I still think no time in the hands of like really good players is still going to be extremely powerful. But you might not see as many people using it because it's not going to be as easy to use, but it'll still probably be good. Reduced damage, Risk Runner, reduced damage resistance versus players when Arc Superconductor is active from 50% to 15%. This kind of kills Risk Runner in my opinion. I don't know why you would do this. I mean, Risk Runner was super fun and super good, but 15, like, wow. From 50 to 15, that's kind of insane. Future items, special ammo linear fusion rifles, Lorenz and Arby's, auto aim reduction, flinch tuning, machine gun balancing, make them a better heavy option in PvP, reduce the difference between them and other heavy weapons in PvE, make them less punishing to use for ad clearing, remove damage penalty to DMT at 5 stacks of cranial spike. That's nice. I'm glad they're doing that, but can we please get the damage booster back? Like, I would like it to be able to get more damage as I keep critting. That's nice. I like that. That helps. But I don't feel like I don't know if it's enough. We'll see. It's very hard in PvP to get 5 stacks of cranial spike. So I don't know. Will this make it really good still? Or will it make it better? Absolutely. Is it what I want? I mean, it's better. But now we have the player support report, so we're at the end here. Movies of the week. You can see them there. Art of the week. Very nice. But that is it for the TWAB. We're going to take this link because that's it for the TWAB. Ooh, a pirate cat. Amazing. But thank you all very, very much for watching the TWAB. Huge nerfs, huge buffs, huge changes. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And thank you all for watching. And if you liked, please consider a like and subscription. It really help the channel grow. And I'll catch you in the next one.